This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the Clear Lines training session or overview session. I am your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Wednesday, the 14th of November, 2018. And we are going to spend a little time just kind of going over the Clear Lines for Medved Trader. I'm definitely here to answer your questions and give you an overview of the platform that we utilize. Just to give you a real brief history of what kind of happened and where we got to where we are today. I think most of y'all know me from Wise Trade. I was with the company for over 17 years, and obviously not too long ago. So a few months back, all you guys got the news that the company was closing down. I had a little bit of advance notice, but not a tremendous amount. Enough time to actually get with a developer and help me develop my own indicator. The clear lines are based on the Wise Trade red and green lines. It's not the identical algorithm. It's as close as I could legally get without violating any laws, I guess you could say. The one's main difference you'll notice is that my lines aren't quite as smooth. So there's a little bit of jaggedness, but it does utilize the same data that that goes into the Wise Trade software. I apologize. So there are some advantages to my software that Wise Trade didn't have. First of all, you'll notice on the charts the arrows when the lines cross and commit. Sorry. One second. Sorry. When the lines cross and the interval closes, you'll get an arrow confirming the trend reversal. So it's a nice visual on the charts to see. Sometimes you do get like this would be considered a false cross because the line, even though the lines did cross, green over red, it ultimately rolled back down. So hold on again, sorry. Sorry. I think he wants to go OUT. So it's nice to see on the charts though, the arrows confirming. I mean, there's definitely some really great spots where you get confirmations. The other thing that that the clear lines does that Wise Trade didn't do is you can go back in time much further, depending on which time frame you're on. So if I'm on a monthly chart, I can scroll back. This is to 93 on Apple. So I can, there's a lot more history that you can look at. The system is built similar to how a traditional technical indicator would run on a traditional price chart. So this is an add-on. The Medved system is a traditional trading platform, and so it's actually, if you go to the indicators, clear lines are listed as a indicator. It's an added indicator. Now, if you were using Medved, but you weren't subscribing to Clearlines, you'll see it here, but it would actually be locked out. You would not be able to access it without subscribing. So you've got the advantage of the fact that you can look back in history much further. That's a big advantage for those of you that like to look back in time. Another really interesting thing that my Clearlines do that you couldn't do with WiseTrade is that you can also view pre and post market data. So for those that like to trade after hours, you can view the charts and see the pre and the post market trading sessions. Obviously, the markets are a little less liquid then, and it's not the most ideal trading times, but it does work in the after hours. And additionally, for those of you that like other technical indicators, like if you like to use candlesticks, you have the ability to overlay candlesticks onto my charts. Now, because there is going to be a little bit of a difference, because since the red and green lines technically are not price charts or price lines, they're buying and selling pressure or buying and selling momentum lines. So they're not always going to match up with where the price action is at. They might be in a different spot. See, sometimes you'll see a price action shoot up higher, yet the red and green lines are in a different location. And that's just, again, a function of the difference between a price chart and a buying and selling momentum or buying and selling pressure charts. But you have the ability to turn those on and off depending on if you like to use that. So those are some of the main significant differences. You can obviously add all kinds of technical indicators depending on how simple or how complex you want to use it. I do like to use pivot points, so my charts do include the daily pivots, so that way I can see where support and resistance lies. It does tend to help when you're looking for tops and bottoms. We can draw Fibonacci levels on our charts as well. I typically will. You do need your candlesticks to do that, but I typically draw off the first 15-minute time frame, and then I can look at the intraday levels, and again see potential support and resistance points throughout the day. And you can see on Apple where it followed a lot of those Fibonacci levels throughout the day, came down to the 786, bounced up to the 100 line, went down to the 618, back up above the 786, came down to the 382, bounced almost to the 618, down to 382, 618, down all the way to S1 and went below 236, S1, almost to the zero line, and then shot up to, actually, I think I'm looking at the wrong. That was the prior day. Hold on. I was looking at the prior day. Well, it's interesting how that worked out yesterday. So let's do today. So here's the first 15-minute for today. Sorry about that. And so this morning we bounced off support, didn't quite make it back up to the fib, came down almost to the 300, bounced back up to support, down to the 300, went a little bit below it, back up to support 1. So we kind of floated between support 1 and the 300 a lot of today. And then we ended the day right at the 300. So that's another really great tool is the ability to draw Fibonacci's. And again, you don't have to use the price charts, but you can if you want. The candlesticks. You can also draw. You can draw trend lines on the charts. So if you're looking at channels, and again, any other technical indicator, the Medved Trader has a bunch of different indicators available. There's a full list. We also like to use the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price. It works like a magnet sometimes. It helps out with finding possible points to take profit or price targets. Price targets or place where to put stops above or below. But a full list of technicals. Let me also give you a real quick understanding of Medved. Medved Trader was created by a couple of guys. They're brothers. They actually had developed a platform years ago. I believe it was called Questrade, that was bought out by Ameritrade years ago. And a lot of people really like that platform. And so they developed, I guess once they had their non-compete was up, they developed the Medved Trader platform. It's I will tell you, there is a little bit of a learning curve if you're used to the simplicity of the WiseTrade system, but once you get through that short learning curve and you figure out how powerful this system is, you'll never look back. You'll say, wow, amazing. Our customers that are currently use it love the clear lines on the Medved platform. It's extremely powerful. And so let me continue to kind of go through. So I created basically several layouts. When you start the software, do a fresh startup, you basically get, well, there's a layout library, and there's two pre-built layouts that I created for the WiseTrade customer. One's called the Clear Lines for Swing or Position Trading, and that's the one actually when you first start the software, it will automatically open to that if you've registered for the Clear Lines. And there's also an active layout. I'm going to load that just so you can see what it looks like. The layout basically was developed with 8 different time frames on it. So it would be similar to the WiseTrade 8 charts with a monthly, weekly, daily, 130, 60, 30, 10, and 2. Now these intervals are all changeable, customizable. You can maximize a window to see a full view. You can bring it back down. I personally have kind of gone away from this layout because I focus more on bigger charts and fewer time frames. But a lot of people like what's called my 2-chart layout, which we started out with today, because it's very simplistic. One chart is what's considered historical. Historical chart's going to be the day, week, and month, and then the intraday chart is your minute time frames, and they do function a little bit differently. But in this method, you'll see that basically all the time frames, all 8 time frames, and then you have the ability to click through symbols. So this is the basket. Basically, it's a watch list or basket at the top. So you can just click at any point a symbol on the watch list and then be able to view the charts. So for someone that wants to real quick just go through a bunch of different stocks and be able to see all the time frames, this is what's ideal for you as a user. one second. Let me. Yeah, this is the view that you're going to want to utilize to be able to see all that. You just flip through and quickly see your long, mid, and short, and then your whatever intraday time frames that you want to view. So this is the base one, and then again, you know, you can create endless numbers of layouts. I'm pretty much down to using mainly two different layouts now throughout the day. I start the morning with the two chart layout as I'm reviewing stocks for the poppers and droppers, and then I go into my active trade layout. But any questions at this point? I know I've kind of covered a lot in a short amount of time, but any questions so far about the platform, specifically about the clear lines? If you have a question, you can ask it in the chat window. I don't have any questions yet. No questions? Okay, I'll continue on. Do we still get access to live trading with you and other hosts? Yes, depending on which what you subscribe to, John. So I have basically two different options for our customers. So we have what's called the combination package, which is the alerts, webinar alerts, and the software, the indicator, which is $129 a month. Now that's if you have an Ally Invest account. If you don't have an Ally Invest account and you have an account with either TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers, if you have an account with one of those other brokers, it is an additional $20 platform fee. And if you don't have one of those brokers, unfortunately, Medved, and I'll show you real quick, Medved integrates with a handful of brokers. You can see I have multiple accounts I have a TD Ameritrade, Ally Invest for MB Trading, and an Ally Invest account. So you can actually trade through multiple accounts through the software. But right now, they are currently integrated with these brokers: Ally Invest for MB Trading, E-Trade, Gain Capital Futures if you have a futures account, Interactive Brokers. Canadians can access through Questrade. They're integrated with Rhythmic, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, and Tradier. There's also some cryptocurrency brokers as well. So any of these brokers that you have, with the exception of Ally Invest and Ally Invest, you would pay an additional $20 a month, and that's the platform fee. Ally, if you have an Ally Invest account, they basically cover that $20 monthly platform fee, which is above the $59 a month indicator, my indicator fee, or the $129 package, either or. So you can subscribe to just the indicator for $59 a month, or the combination for $129. If you don't have an Ally account, it's additional $20. A funded Ally account, let me stress that it has to be funded. Okay. If you do not have one of these brokers, if you have Schwab or Fidelity, you will have to separately subscribe to a data feed provider. And that would either be Stockwatch or Quote Media. Okay. Stockwatch or Quote Media. And that's an additional at least $20 some odd a month. So potentially It's $59, could be an additional $40 odd if you don't have an integrated broker or an ally account. Okay, it's a little confusing, but unfortunately, that's the way. I could not get a standalone app without. I had to do something with a. Did I say interactive brokers is also integrated? IB. So you have a subscription to my indicator. You have a subscription for a platform, which would be free if you have Ally Invest. And then if you don't have an Ally or an integrated broker, you could have an additional data feed expense. Okay. So Willie, to answer your question, yes, if you still have an active MB Ally account, you would be able to access this. You still have to pay my either $59 a month or $129 if you want the equity alerts as well. So I do have a few clients that they're not real active traders, but they want the red and green lines to manage their portfolios and manage their trades, so they subscribe to the 59. If you're trading actively, let me tell you what, if you're not making enough to cover the cost of our subscription, then we're doing something wrong, obviously. Now we throw out some great trades every day between me, Lindsay, the Metacat kid, and Jim, as well as we have a handful of traders in our chat room that threw out some great trades as well. I mean, most of the guys that are trading actively, they're making enough in a day to pay for a year of their service. Just to let you know. Okay, so Carol, hold on, I'll get to your question in just a minute. So anyway, to go back to answer your question, John, $129 a month is the package. You can sign up at equityalerts.com if you're interested. We do give a free 3-day trial just for the alerts. I don't do a free 3-day trial for the indicator just because of what the process it takes to get you set up. I give you a phone call, I help you out, spend some time with you. But if you do the combination package, $129, that's the package you'd want to sign up for. Okay, the next question, volume behind the charts and below. Yes, you have the ability. This has got volume overlaid on the chart, or if you want it separate, under the indicators, you can move the volume below the chart if you want to view it below. I prefer to have the volume on the chart, on the main chart, so I want to see it above. But yes, you can switch the volume above or below the charts. This is below, or this is on the same chart. When you say, let's see, when you say go to your active charts, what time frames? Just the two? No, whatever. So Carol, there are, again, I have different layouts depending on the time of day, and so like my popper dropper layout is what I use in the morning. So I have multiple time frames. You can only see 4 right now, but this allows me to look at 2 different stocks simultaneously. And I have another window that you don't see that has 2 more charts. It has another time frame. Or I can go to the there's also the clear load layout, clear lines for active trading. So this is 8 windows. This is the active setup. So it has a long, a day, a 21, 15, 8, 5, 2, and a 1. So you can set it up pretty much however you want. If you want to look at multiple time frames at one time, if you want to look at just 2 windows. So let me show you something again. Let me go back to the 2-chart layout. I can just scroll through different time frames on my 2-chart layout, right? I can scroll through multiple time frames, preset, or I can use a custom time frame. I can do that here on the day, week, or month. I can switch between the 3. Actually, there's also a quarter and a yearly chart as well. So you can move through different time frames, whichever you feel you need to look at. Willie says, "What's Blake up to?" Blake is works for a private hedge fund, and he has his own forex alerts as well. Is there a scanner component? I don't have a scanning tool at this point. One thing that I have intended on working on and have not been able to actually start on yet is I do want to build a standalone application that would be similar to WiseTrade with a scanning tool. I just am not in a position to do that yet. It's going to take a substantial investment to do that, and so this works well. We don't have any problem finding stocks to trade every day. The only disadvantage is I can't find true like swing trade setups like we used to do because I don't have WiseFinder. There is a component built into Medved that allows you to create alerts. So it's like a scanner. And it does have a scanning tool, but it scans the stocks that are on your watch list. Like I have a watch list here. So it scans through the watch list. And I honestly have not really started using this. It's kind of a little more complex than I want to go into. But I will show you something that's rather interesting. So there is something called an alert line. I can draw an alert line on a chart, basically, that if the price crosses above this line, it will set off it'll set off an alert notification. So it's cross trend lined up. If it crosses the line, it will give out an alert using this. So there are some cool features within the Medved platform. Medved has a great help button with a built-in tutorial. If you have questions about specifically components and features of Medved using the portfolio, and there are different portfolio layouts. I try to keep it as simple as possible, but it is a pretty powerful platform. You can here's alerts. There's options risk analysis. Yeah, it's there's a lot to it. I try to keep it as simple though as possible. I prefer to follow the lines, and then I do look at the candlesticks. I do look at daily pivots. We do use the volume weighted average price as well. Other questions? Then I'm going to show you another really cool feature. So let me go back to the popper dropper layout. And let me put in Apple and Facebook because they're pretty heavily traded stocks. Okay. So like this is the VWAP. This is the volume weighted average price. So one of the other really great features of using the Medved is the ability to trade directly through the software and to be able to chart trade. So if I wanted to buy Apple right now, all I have to do is right click on my chart. Either I can click the buy button, and actually, since we're after hours, you have to use a limit order. Okay. I also have a shortcut on my quick access toolbar, or I can click trading and I can click the buy button. So here, let's adjust the order. Let's just do 50 shares. Okay, and I'm going to click buy. This is in a demo account. So we're after hours, so we got to do a limit order. I can adjust the price of the limit by either double clicking on the number and adjusting it up or down, or scrolling on my mouse, or I can move this capsule up and down to wherever the price is. So if I want to now place this order, I just click the check to commit or send the order. Account not authorized. That's weird. I don't know why it's doing that right now. Hold on a second. Let's try that again. Okay. Now it went. Did it fill? Hold on. Oh, because I have market. Buy. Oh, now we're at 92. Hold on. Anyway, you can move your stop. Or if I want to move it way down below the market, you can move your stop, your limits up and down, or your market orders. You can chart trade. You can set your stops on the chart. You can do bracket orders if your broker allows it. It's a pretty cool feature to be able to do that. I don't know why that wouldn't let me put that position in, but anyway, maybe it's the time. Andre says, so sorry, how are poppers and droppers found without WiseFinder? Is there a criteria? How is that criteria found? I'm thinking I missed it when you were discussing the scanner. No, actually, I never used WiseFinder to find poppers and droppers. I used a secondary scanning tool. I used to use a scanning tool through Interactive Brokers. I now use a pre-market scanner through TradeStation. That's how I find the poppers and droppers. But that's part of what, everybody likes the that's part of what they get is I do the research for them in the morning. I get up at 6:30 Central and start researching to find poppers and droppers. It takes me a good hour and 15 minutes to do my research. And then I post them in our community. We have a internal internal blog. And so I post the poppers and droppers internally for our customers. Okay. So Yeah, part of the alert service is getting those poppers and droppers every day. I'm glad you brought up the demo. I have been away for a long time and would want to practice with paper account. So there is a caveat about paper trading. I have to inform you. The paper trading would only work if you already have a Ally MBT account. You would have to have an MB Trading Ally account to do paper trading. Unfortunately, that or interactive brokers. I think interactive brokers would work as well. I think they have demo trading, but and I think you can actually set up a demo account. I'll have to look into it. Let me look into it. I think you can set up a demo account with IB for free, but I'm not sure. But unfortunately, I have a TD Ameritrade account, and TD does not allow paper trading on third-party platforms. They allow it on their Thinkorswim, but it's a component of Thinkorswim. So Medved per se does not have a paper trading function. I don't have a paper trading function. It's based on if the integrated broker does. So yeah, so if you still have an MB Ally for MB trading account, original MB trading account that's still open, then you would be able to paper trade. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see all the different accounts. I have a TD Ameritrade personal, an IRA account. I have a options account with Ally MBT. I have these are demo accounts right here, these three, and I have another account. I think that's not it's a debt account, but yeah, you have the ability to, if you still have that, you can trade through it. Good questions today. Let me go back to. I want to go back to the two chart layout again, just so y'all can see it clearly. And I'm actually just going to focus on one window for right now. I'm just going to, oops. So let's go current day. Let's move that down. So this is a 3-minute time frame on Apple. This morning, you had a nice rollover right here at pivot point too. So you had a confirmation. You had pivot point. You had a down arrow confirmation. You easily could have shorted Apple right around 193.30. And you didn't get an up arrow until here, till 190. So that was a $3 move down on that 1 3-minute time frame. You had a brief up, could have gone short again. You can see how clear, depending on what time frame you utilize. Here's a 1-minute time frame. I know some traders like a 2-minute, so we can go to a 2. Oh, there's another feature I wanted to share with you as well. This is pretty cool. Anyway, there's your 2-minute. So again, there's that down arrow confirmation right in the 193.5 range. And then you got another secondary down arrow. So you could have stuck with this all the way down to, again, to close to 190. Just following the red and green lines. You didn't have to use candles behind it. I mean, you could have to help you, but you could have just used the red and green lines. Whoops. So one of the other really cool features that I forgot to mention is that there is also the ability to put in fraction of a minute, like a half minute or a quarter minute. So this is a half-minute time frame. For those of you that are real super active traders, you can trade off a 30-second light. And you can, again, you can show your candles or not show your candles, but, or if you're really a hyperactive trader, you want a quarter minute or a 15-second time frame. There's your quarter minute time frame. That's a pretty hyperactive. But we use a half minute at the market open for the poppers and droppers, and it does work quite well. Let's go back to that initial. So here was that drop that we were looking at earlier, I think. Hold on. Oops. Yeah, that was right up here. Right off of that pivot point. That was a beautiful place to get short. So that's another great feature of the software. There's some other stuff that's pretty cool with the ability to trade on the charts. There's a button that you can add on, or it's on trading. It's called reverse. So it'll basically, if you're long, it'll sell it and turn it and go short. If you're short, it'll buy to cover and then put you long. There's also a flatten. This is really great when things are moving fast and you're in a trade and you just need to get out like now. Click the flatten, it'll cancel any open orders and then get you out of the trade. And I actually really like that when I get into something and it moves in my direction like really fast and I just want to get out. I hit that flatten button. A lot of other great components built into the software. Like I said, if I'm looking at one chart and I want to open another one, I can click off of right click off of the watch list, and then I can open either the intraday, which is going to be minutes, or a historical, which is long, mid, and short. So here's a daily chart on Amazon. So I can open multiple windows. If I have, 3 or 4 monitors, I can lay out charts, multiple charts on multiple time frames across different windows. Again, if you want to keep it as simple and just look at 2 time frames, a historical long, mid, and short, and a minute time frame, and then float between them, you can do that, or you can get as customizable as you want with as many charts as your heart desires. Again, any more questions? Any more questions? I do record a lot of sessions and I post them on YouTube as well. We have if you go to equity-alerts.com, on any of the pages, you'll see a link up here for YouTube. If you just click that, it'll take you to our YouTube page. These were the last 2 weekly sessions I did. I'll post today's session as well. For those of you that want to go back and view it, it's on our YouTube page. What else can I show you? You can add stocks to to your watch list by just typing right on the. I want to add another symbol, YY, MMM, and then if I click OK, it will now appear on the list here down at the bottom. There's YY, and then I can just left click, and it pops the chart on my window. Or if I just type on any chart, I can enter the symbol that way. So there's a couple different ways to enter symbols. Another really great feature you'll notice is there's a little light bulb here. That's letting me know that there's news. If I click it, you get the news window. I subscribe to a couple news sources, Allies News and Yahoo News. But it'll give me, here's a story. Why pop today? And then it takes me to I double clicked and it opened this web page so I can find out what the news story was. But it's going to give me a headline, and then I can click to get the actual news story. That's another cool thing that the software does. Willie says, got to run, Kipp. Thanks. Please keep me on your email list, and please tell Jim and Lindsay I said hi. I will. Thanks, Willie. Hope to see you in our webinar soon. It is user friendly, Andre. Like I said, there's a little learning curve because it's not. There's a lot more buttons and a lot more things it does, but once you get it, it's like really cool. Like things like this. Look, it tells you when the market opens in 15 hours and 18 minutes. The little clocks there. To minimize, I just click this minimize all, or I go back down to my taskbar and click the icon to open it back up. I can minimize a single window, but I typically don't do it that way. I can also open full screen, a single chart. I can choose what indexes I want to view. There's the ability to pick different indexes. What else? Like I said, you can add technicals to the charts. You can draw lines, draw Fibonacci. I think I've pretty much covered what I wanted to cover. Trading, drawing. There are different color sets depending on how you want to see things visually. Ocean. But yeah, a lot. It is very, very customizable. Lots of different things you can do. Can we see an example of how the poppers worked? Yeah, hold on a second. Let's go to a 1 minute. And actually, RRC was really good this morning because it popped and then it came down. So you can see what the lines looked like this morning. Now, we're also looking at the candles as well. That tends to help when you're doing poppers and droppers. But you can see, the line's hooked up and over pretty quickly. I like the watch list and the ability to have multiple charts viewing at once. Yeah, Southwest Energy also came down. That was a real nice one this morning. It came down pretty quick. You could see how it faded out. Goose came down a little later in the morning. It had early on the spreads were a little crazy, but you can see where it sold off very nicely. PCG was one of our droppers. It had a little bounce and then reversed. You can again see clearly on the charts. AMRS was a dropper. EIX filled the gap pretty quickly. And Sangamo was was that a dropper? Yeah, that was a dropper. Actually, I traded Sangamo later in the day and had a nice little trade with it. I caught the bounce off the bottom. I caught one of the little bounces on Sangamo. I missed some of the good part, but I caught it through here. All right, any more questions, guys? I got a dog that's ready to go OUT. Any more questions? All right, I will do this again next week. I apologize for the confusion today. I will be doing weekly sessions, just an overview of clear lines and the Medved Trader, probably every Wednesday for a while at the same time. I may change the link to a reoccurring one. I'll have to figure that out. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. My email is kipp, Kipp, at equity-alerts.com. Kipp at equity-alerts.com. You can email me there. Happy to talk to you. I'd be happy to give you a call if you want to talk. If you want a one-on-one, have some additional questions, don't hesitate to ask. Anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you. And again, I apologize for the delay and for the confusion earlier. But have a good one, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you.